Hello, I'm glad to see you again in the VNA News Bulletin. I'm Ngọc from Hanoi and now the headlines. Vietnam attends Conference of Asian Political Parties in Kuala Lumpur. State Bank of Vietnam urges more lending supervision. Central Highlands narrows development gap. The 9th General Assembly of the International Conference of Asian Political Parties took place in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia from September the 1st to 4th. Head of the Party's Central Committee's Commission for External Relations, Hoàng Bình Quân, led the Vietnamese delegation to the event. At the function, head of the party's Central Committee's Commission for External Relations, Hoàng Bình Quân, called on Asian countries and parties to show their sense of responsibility for peace, stability, and prosperity in the region. He stressed the need to resolve disputes relating to sovereignty and territory by peaceful measures in line with international law and with respect for diplomatic and legal processes. Quân also called for efforts to enhance infrastructure connectivity, narrow development gaps, protect the environment, cope with climate change, and increase people-to-people exchanges. Themed One Asia, the event gathered more than 300 delegates from 89 political parties of 35 Asian countries. The General Assembly adopted the Kuala Lumpur Declaration, affirming the party's commitments to the goal of building one Asia of peace and prosperity. On the sidelines of the event, the Vietnamese delegation held talks with leaders of the United Malays National Organization, which is the largest political party in Malaysia. The Central Highlands province of Lâm Đồng is seeking investment for 53 projects worth $2.8 billion in transport, industrial zones, biotechnology, and high-tech farming, in addition to food processing and tourism.
Lâm Đồng province has huge potentials for investment in tourism, high-tech farming, but reforms in the investment environment is still seen as the biggest challenge. The provincial authorities were advised to offer good infrastructure to investors, fast administrative reforms, as well as preparation of a skilled labor force. According to the Provincial Planning and Investment Department, Lâm Đồng itself offers preferential policies for investors, including land rent exemption, income tax, human resource training support, and free import tax for initial project construction. The Central Highlands province hosted 5.1 million tourists, of which 220,000 were foreigners in 2015. Vegetable, flour, and coffee beans are the key farm produce in the province, which include 2 million tons of vegetables, 410,000 tons of coffee beans, and 2.5 billion flowers each year. Lâm Đồng has been developing the Đà Lạt Vibrant plant with a capacity of 5 million liters per year. To date, the province has attracted 103 foreign direct investment projects worth $580 million. Covering 597,000 hectares, the province has 2 national parks, Bi Đúc Núi Bà and Cát Tiên, and UNESCO-recognized World Biosphere Reserve Lang Biang.
The State Bank of Vietnam has directed its supervisors and credit institutions to enhance control on lending to borrowers with large outstanding loans. The following report will bring more details. Under a recent document, the Central Bank also requires credit institutions to increase supervision on credit granting that is higher than allowed limits. According to the current legal regulations, the aggregate debt balance of one single customer cannot exceed 15% of the capital of a bank and 25% of the capital of a non-bank institution. The central bank allows credit institutions to increase lending limits to some customers, but requires the institutions to ensure the credit growth quota allocated by the central bank is maintained. This year, the entire banking system targets a credit growth of 18 to 20%, and the central bank has allocated lending limits to each institution to ensure the target is achieved. Besides, customers in prioritized industries of agriculture, exports, supporting industries, small and medium-sized enterprises, and high-tech businesses. The increase of lending limits is also focused on production and business. However, lending to risky industries must be restricted. The central bank also asks credit institutions to ensure safety ratios in lending and to take responsibility when granting lending limits higher than regulated. Vietnam will have 1,300 supermarkets and more than 300 commercial centers in the next 10 years, making an important channel for people to access to safe food sources. This information has been announced by the Ministry of Industry and Trade.
The Ministry's Domestic Market Department said the goods sold at traditional markets have accounted for 40% of the country's total goods circulation. The rate of fresh food accounted for nearly 70% at traditional markets. Around 60% of supermarkets in the country have been selling food. The department said most of food sold at supermarkets have clear origin certificates or are sealed with food safety, while those at traditional markets have seen risks of untested food. According to the department, the modern distribution channels have been an effective solution for consumption of safe agricultural production models. The development of supermarket networks nationwide will play an important role in developing trade infrastructure to ensure food safety. The Ministry of Industry and Trade had approved a master plan for the development of markets, supermarkets, and commercial centers in the country with an aim to develop a synchronous markets network. The plan aimed to promote circulation of goods, thus enhancing the processing and manufacturing sector as well as the agricultural sector. It is forecast that the amount of agroforestry and fishery products sold through modern distribution channels will account for 40% of the country's total market shares. Statistics from the ministry showed that there have been some big modern distribution channels in the country, such as Metro with 19 units, Big C with 32 units, and Vinmart with over 400 units.
The Central Highlands has narrowed the development gap with other regions in Vietnam, with its per capita income reaching $1,645 or 80% of the national average in 2015, compared to just 67% of the national figure 5 years before. The Central Highlands comprises 5 provinces: Đắk Lắk, Đắk Nông, Gia Lai, Kon Tum, and Lâm Đồng. The Steering Committee for the Central Highlands reported the region posted an annual economic growth of 8% since 2011, thanks to a shift to intensive farming, high-valued industrial plants in agriculture, and development of some key industries, including hydropower, mining, and farm produce processing. In agriculture, production value per hectare of cultivated land has increased as a result of crop restructuring and the application of intensive farming and technologies. Meanwhile, the industrial sector has expanded by an average 11.4% a year in the 5-year period. Total investment in the transport network in the Central Highlands topped $64.2 trillion during the past 5 years, with 74.2% going into national roads. The region now boasts a road system with a combined length of 39,812 km, accounting for 7.33% of the country's total. Along with infrastructure, development has been seen in education, healthcare, and other social areas, bringing about remarkable reduction of poverty. Nearly 181,000 households have risen above poverty since 2011, reducing the rate of poverty to 7.34% of all houses compared to 18.92% in 2011. Many ethnic minority communities have ended their nomadic lifestyle and settled down, switching from slash and burn practice to cultivating long-term industrial plants such as coffee, pepper, and beans, thus raising their income and living conditions. The steering committee officials said the region will continue with concerted efforts to achieve the socio-economic goals of this year, paving the way for the 5-year development plan of 2016 to 2020. It's believed that French Jesuit missionary Alexander Prout was the founder of the modern writing system for the Vietnamese language. However, researchers have proved that a Portuguese priest created the Romanese script of the Vietnamese language. Join our reporters to find out more.
Signs of Roman script for the Vietnamese language dated back to 1619 were found in Church An Phú Yên in Thanh Chiêm II village, Điện Phương commune, Điện Bàn Thao, the central province of Quảng Nam. According to the church's history, Portuguese priest Francisco de Pina, 1585-1625, was sent to the area in 1617. He was the first priest who could speak Vietnamese well. In 1624, priest Alexander Rose was also sent to Thanh Chiêm to learn Vietnamese with Pina. In a recent scientific conference on Thanh Chiêm Palace and the Vietnamese script, historians and researchers affirmed that priest Francisco de Pina was the creator of the Vietnamese language's modern writing system. Meanwhile, Alexander Rose edited and improved it.
Thì chúng tôi nghĩ rằng là lúc đó người Pháp đúng là có ý đồ muốn nhấn mạnh cái vai trò của nước Pháp đóng góp.
We talked about Alexander de Rose for a long time. It's true that he made great contributions to creating the Vietnamese modern language, especially ancient artifacts such as the Vietnamese Portuguese Latin Dictionary and a catechism book, published in 1651. After that, more research showed that Pina created the modern Vietnamese writing system. He was Rose's teacher and the only Western missionary who spoke Vietnamese fluently.
Thời điểm ấy và vì thế chúng ta tôn vinh trong một cách công bằng.
Apart from this, when the creator of Vietnamese Romanized script was discussed at the conference, 22 out of 30 presentations at the event affirmed that it was in Thanh Chiêm.
Là trong các cái bản đồ mà chúng tôi chụp từ các cái thư viện hoặc các kho lưu trữ quốc tế.
5 maps, which we collected and copied from different libraries in the world, identify the locations as Gai Chiem and Dinh Chiem in the north of Thu Bồn River. It's now Thanh Chiêm village. This was the place of origin of the Vietnamese script.
Chính là cái bây giờ mà người ta gọi là Thanh Chiêm, và đây là nơi khai sinh ra chữ quốc ngữ.
Over the past 400 years, the Roman script for Vietnamese has had an important role to the country. Finding the founder of the writing system and its place of origin will contribute to respecting the value of history.
That has come to the end of our news bulletin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.